been saying the likes of which we've never seen before.
I can't remember the last time that we have seen something like this. I think meteorological historians are going to be talking about this storm system for a very long time. It is dangerous, and the whole point, I mean, a lot of folks are going to sit there and be like, it wasn't that bad. A lot of folks have said that Irene was a dud.
Yeah.
This storm system, no matter how we slice it, the whole point of why we're trying to tell you what we're trying to tell you, why we're passing along all these warnings, why we're passing along and going into great detail of why we think this is all going to happen and come to fruition the way we think it's going to happen, is just to save lives. So that's the way we want to keep it.
Visit Hurricane Central at weather.com. Now your local on the 8s.
A flood watch and a high wind warning have been issued for our area by the National Weather Service. Currently in our area, 55 degrees under cloudy skies. Here's our local Doppler radar. For tonight, windy with rain showers likely, low 46, chance of rain 60%. And on Monday, windy with periods of rain, high 56. And Monday night, windy with rain, heavy at times, low 47. The week ahead.
Flooding a big threat with this storm. We'll bring in our severe weather expert, Greg Forbes, for the very latest on the flooding potential. Dr. Forbes.
Storm surge and rainfall, Greg.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we have a tremendous storm surge, a tremendous area of expanse all the way from parts of the Great Lakes to New England that will have damaging wind gusts. I'll focus this segment on the heavy rain. It is beginning to really get its act together here. Very narrow little band of rainfall rates up to about a ½ inch per hour has spread today all the way up to Philadelphia, down across from Norfolk, east of Baltimore. It has been previously down in North Carolina yesterday and today where there's been up to 6 inches of rain from that. Narrow little band. Can you see it moving westbound? That represents to the east of that the tropical regime, the west of that the ambient, somewhat cooler north flow. I wanted to show you a little bit more details of this though. Look how narrow that is. It's only 3 miles wide, and I took a slice through it up there to the north and east. Wanted to show you that. Now sometimes we see these narrow bands when you've seen me in the past, and these have been big tall thunderstorms or gust fronts from the thunderstorms. The tops of them, here I've slid this up in the vertical, often we're talking up about 40,000 feet. This is a little narrow band of heavy rain showers. It's about 10 or 12,000 feet deep, and the whole tops of the storm about 20,000 feet. So it's not thunderstorms at all. This is just showers, and that's certainly a good thing, because as fast as the winds aloft are going to be for the next several days, up aloft, if these were thunderstorms, we would have tornadoes. We'd have an even worse wind threat than we will have anyway, and that's going to be bad enough. Now, here we've been talking about we're going to get interaction between tropical and Hurricane Sandy, the tropical system, and the cooler mid-latitude system. You see this white patch of clouds, this white patch of moisture, it's about to happen. It'll happen overnight tonight, and that is representing the jet stream that is going to push farther south and east. It's doing that right now. Loop around and then come back in from the south and east, push Sandy up toward Pennsylvania from the southeast. And this is what we call a negatively tilted from northwest to southeast. It's kind of reverse of the typical. Ahead of that, there's tremendous upward motion, pulling a part of the air aloft. That will allow for widespread rain, allow Sandy to continue to be a deep low as it moves up into Pennsylvania. A frontal zone, moisture gets pushed against that and to the west of that, lifted over the cooler air to the west, and the net result, 4 to 8 inches, some places more than a foot of rain. With any place that gets more than about 3 inches of rain here is going to have flooding. In urban areas, it's going to be flash flooding. We'll have river flooding as well. Moisture farther to the east will push against the east and south facing mountains of New England. There'll be some localized flooding as well. And in West Virginia, the north flow will be giving several feet of snow. So it is a moist system with a wind, flash flooding, river flooding that will go on until Wednesday at least, and a devastating storm surge threat. It's a widespread, dangerous storm. Kelly, Brian?
Thanks, Dr. Forbes, for that analysis.
since we first started reporting about Sandy's threat.
All right, NBC's Jeff Rawson is live at a Home Depot in Glendale, Queens. Jeff.
Those 2,000 donations are needed every day to maintain the supply. We should note that if you can get out and donate, do it, but don't make yourself unsafe. Put yourself in an unsafe circumstance to get out there. Best time to go? Right now, early this morning, before things begin to close in.
Yeah, because we're hearing 4 o'clock could be like the worst part of the storm.
Yeah.
The combination of the rain
Because the market is shut.
flooding, and the winds are going to make this a very, very difficult event to deal with.
That's New Jersey Governor Chris Christie advising residents on how serious this storm is. New Jersey residents have been sandbagging, boarding up, preparing. President Obama has spoken to Governor Christie to offer any support that he can to New Jersey. Welcome back into your weather today on this Monday, October 29, 2012. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams, live in New York City.
To you, Stephanie, following everything that Sandy has to offer from right here at the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta.
And obviously, Sandy continuing with its powerful impacts, and you have a look at the latest? Yeah, we do, and I want to show you where we are. We're actually downtown, and that's Freedom Tower 1 behind me. As you can see, they're still doing construction, but everything is locked down. We are down here in downtown New York, and this area was actually underwater during Irene, and we're going to have to evacuate. We are in an evacuation zone. That's the city, and then there's the water for you, white caps on the Hudson. This is not something that you see typically. That's Jersey right across the way from us. And again, that high tide tonight around 8:53 is
drizzle.
problematic as we get that onshore flow right now. Storm force winds extending out almost 500 miles from the center of it, and the pressure is just remarkably low, 946. It's a Category 1 hurricane coming in. It looks like overnight tonight into early tomorrow is when we will see the worst of it. So let's talk about some of the impacts that we have here. Now, I've posted these impact frames on my Twitter and Facebook if you want to go there to share them with anyone or send them to anyone. Here we go, high winds. Now, this is what I'm talking about. As it gets closer towards us, we are in the northeast quadrant. That means you have the forward motion of the storm and the winds moving in the same direction. So that's why we're going to get such a high surge there on Long Island Sound between Long Island and Connecticut, anywhere from 6 to maybe 10 feet. On the southern end, you have the storm system going in one direction and the winds going in another, and so the surge won't be as bad, but flooding is going to be a problem as well. We have an army of meteorologists back at the Weather Channel headquarters and also in the field here 24 hours a day. Mike Seidel's been covering this storm since the beginning. Let's go to Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And Mike, we've just gotten a little bit of rain here. No winds just yet.
Yeah, I've seen your shot, Stephanie. It looks like a walk in the park for you down there in Battery City. You don't get the sense out here like you do on the beach with the wind and the surf. And look at this surf now coming up through the fence into this nice wide dune, which is great because these dunes really protect the beachfront property. Everything west of here is boarded up, basically, as you can see, or as I can see, and I'm telling you, wind and rain. Now, it's not raining particularly hard, but it is raining. We didn't have hardly any rain yesterday, so it wasn't a bad day out here. Also, winds increases. And, about every hour or so, you can feel the gust increasing a little bit each time. We've had gusts out here about 45 miles an hour, but remember, we're expecting gusts here this evening, later this afternoon, this evening, and overnight, as high as 75 hurricane-force wind gusts. Let's go down the coast at Atlantic Beach, and you can see the surf yesterday as it was riled up by the wind, even though the storm was more than 550 miles away at this point. The swell, and just the fact that we've had this long fetch from the Atlantic for several days as the storm has come out of the tropics. And it's still amazing to me that we have a blizzard warning associated with the backside of a hurricane. Let's talk about Washington and Baltimore, because there it's all about the wind.
Weather together on the Chris Jeff takes over in the traffic center. Good morning, drivers. Even though it is lighter than normal, we still have some problems. There's a crash now on the Belt Parkway on the westbound side. There's also flooding reported on the eastbound belt between Bay 8th Street and Bay 4th. Open the Maryhill Bridge, southbound FDR Drive and Grand Street now in collision. Traffic sponsored by the Empire State Building. Sherman Chim is night out at the Empire State Building Observatory, where dazzling lights and gorgeous city views fill the air with love. It's the most romantic way to feel the nighttime magic of New York City, open daily from 2 a.m. Buy your tickets now at esdnyc.com. Now the latest from the WCBS Weather Center.
Winds are northeast. There's a
reporting live in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where Long Island Sound is rolling and crashing against the rocks here along the seawall at St. Mary's by the Sea neighborhood. And driving here over the past half hour or so from neighboring Fairfield, I was surprised how many of the creeks of the bays leading towards Long Island Sound already appear to be at a level you'd expect for high tide. And officials in Fairfield were telling me that they weren't expecting high tide around here until about 11:30 this morning. Sometimes people put things in a way that makes it visual.
into Facebook and on Twitter that numerous people, and Eric just mentioned it, Eric Lanscorner just mentioned it before, that he's seeing these green arcs across the sky. We are not seeing anything. There has not been one lightning detector in the eastern half of the nation that is picking up lightning, or over New Jersey and in towards Pennsylvania. There's nothing picking up lightning right now. So those green arcs are transformers that are blowing. Now what I'm thinking is, since so many people are seeing it, that these transformers are blowing all at once in different locations, and it's possible that that electricity arc is actually reflecting off the low clouds. It's just a thought. Many people are seeing it. I just want to reassure everyone that right now, it's not lightning. The atmosphere is not primed for that right now. It's a wind and rain event. We're looking at almost 10 inches of rain in the West Cape May area. Dennis Township, also in Cape May, picking up 7.4, almost 7.5 inches of rain with this system. West Creek and Ocean County picking up just over 5 inches of rain here in the Weather Center. Meteorologist Michelle Powers and myself really think that the storm has already come ashore probably about 45 minutes ago. There's a little bit of a donut hole of really no rain going on right now. Rain showers spiraling, and remember, the storm system is a counterclockwise circulation, so we're pulling in more rain through the Hudson Valley and then back down through Pennsylvania, and then it's going to go back up through New Jersey as the storm system begins to now whip into the Pennsylvania area. So while it may not be raining right now, the winds are certainly fierce. The rain will pick back up again. Major coastal flooding is occurring right now. The tidal gauge at Sandy Hook is over 13.5 feet. Record-breaking amounts of water continuing to spill into the back bays. The Navesink River over towards Seabright, Monmouth Beach, just looking at historic flooding right now. Over towards the Highlands, again, the water's continuing to rise. We're looking at all of that water kind of pushing back into the Raritan Bay. The Raritan Bay is also going to be looking at some, and the Raritan River will be looking at some significant water rises.
Now,
we are still, for probably the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 more hours, we're in the thick of the storm. We will watch the rain picking up, and the winds will not relax on us until well after about 2, 3, 4 o'clock.
winds gusting, these house-rattling winds beginning to settle down by about 3, 4, or 5 o'clock in the morning. So unfortunately, with the damaging winds that are out there, we will be looking at more in the way of downed trees and power.
In addition, around this now blackened area that you're looking at with no lights at all is the FDR Drive to the I guess the left of your picture here. We're going up the east side. It's flooded. The lower end of Manhattan is flooded.
Ken, live in the dark up here in the Hudson Valley, just off the phone with a utilities actually, and here's what we've got.
You know what? We watch for longer than I thought.
464,000 customers out. United Illuminating's got 81,000 out. Over the border in Westchester and Marlboro,
my shoes off.
222,000 people in the dark. Orange and all the utilities.
That little radio's working half-assed good,
up to 10 days before any of these lights get turned back on.
Unbelievable.
We can plug that
Here in
thing in. That
Nassau
shouldn't
County,
cause
you're
any
seeing
trouble.
some major winds serve as well on the coast. People in Long Beach seeing flooding in the streets. More from WBC's Terry Sheridan on the island.
We had heard some reports about potential damage to the New York Stock Exchange. I just heard from a source with the Stock Exchange, no damage to the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Many of the buildings where major financial decisions for the country.
determine how long it's going to be, but there is significant rises. Smaller growing companies, including those looking to go public, and government agencies. Protiviti helps organizations solve problems in finance, technology, operations, governance, risk, and internal audit. Learn how Protiviti can.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably...
Sandy exiting the tri-state area, leaving more than 4.5 million people without power.
That storm is now blamed for at least 14 deaths around here.
Mass transit could need several days before it's fully restored. 7 subway tunnels are flooded.
In Connecticut, Governor Malloy has lifted a travel ban, but urges people...
We just landed in a foreign city. You know, awestruck, just taking cell phone photos, looking around, you know, just capturing and surveying the damage around them. Our reporters have been doing the same. They've been painting cars since early yesterday morning when we started tracking Sandy, and they're going to continue to do so. I'm just showing up our assignment sheet for this morning, and here's what we're looking at right now. Obviously, this could change. You know, we're hoping to get some areas like Breezy Point, but with the bridges closed, it's hard for our own reporters to get where they need to be. But we'll continue to tell you those stories. I just spoke with Rich Land. He's starting his day up in Upper Saddle River, getting a look at what's going on in Bergen County. Peter Haskell will be joining us in about 10 minutes, actually more about 5 minutes. He's at the site of that crane collapse yesterday, so we're going to get an update on that.
It's funny, Cliff. I was watching TV last night at about 2 in the morning because I got up.
Yeah.
And you can see the only good people that were on was like Channel 10 because they had their own generator.
Yeah.
And all of Manhattan was black. That was like Wellwood Avenue.
It was Wellwood Avenue. Yeah. Yep. Go ahead.
Costco and TJX among companies that topped comp sales forecasts. And on the earnings front, Allstate, ExxonMobil, and Kellogg beat estimates. Kellogg shares are up more than The Dow up 141 points. From the MarketWatch.com newsroom, I'm Adrienne Mitchell for 1010 West.
Wednesday's time, 1027. 2012 is fast coming to a close. And with it, a lot of financial uncertainty. Will income tax rates go up? Will personal income tax deductions be eliminated? What will be the impact of the proposed new tax codes on your assets? One thing is certain, with all this uncertainty, it's important to review your investments today. Is your investment strategy working for you? Now may be the perfect time to contact David Lerner Associates to find out if investments that offer potential tax advantages are right for you. David
per runner to these various relief organizations. But for example, because I've been screaming about the Red Cross for years, but I mean they obviously do some good, but such an abuse of the funds raised for the Red Cross, just going to pay executives $500,000 a year, and the borough president of the Staten Island,
you're right, Molinari, both the borough
screaming about the Red Cross, but there's no evidence that they're helping there in Staten Island. I'm sure they're making an effort, and I don't have any hard evidence about any of this.